feel like growing up is like easy but hard.
In the borough of Enfield, I would say, especially being a girl, I feel unsafe, if I'm being honest.
Like you've got some like good sides, like at the parks and like some of the shops, like your local like fish and chips, or like your local boss man at like the chicken and chip shop.
It's more so, I don't know what's gonna happen. Like a lot of the time now, I'm leaving my house and I don't know if I'm gonna walk back in through the front door.
I actually love living in Enfield. I've been in Enfield all my life. I was born in Edmonton, went to school in Edmonton, opened my business in Edmonton.
Over like on the downside, like there's a lot of like gangs in Enfield as well, and it's like increasingly getting more violent, and like including in like the schools as well.
I think it's changed a lot in the fact that over the years, I think for young people particularly, there's not as many opportunities as there used to be.
Living in Enfield, I think it's changed a lot. I think there are a lot of positives, as my son said, like the parks. You know, there's loads of places to sort of view. Obviously, Platinum Performing Arts is amazing. You know, they cater for the children, which I think is really good. But then, as my son said, you have the downside with the gang violence. Me not willing to let my son out and maybe experience things that I experienced when I was growing up.
Personally, I had my phone robbed from me while I was waiting for a friend, and that was a really traumatic experience because it really showed me how like vulnerable I am as a person.
Not everyone, but majority of young people nowadays idolize money and they don't have an idea of where they want to go. So that could then put them in a sense of them wanting to be roadmen or joining gangs in a way of being able to get money. So drugs, they're moving drugs, you get money, doing different things to get money.
People just stealing, that stems down from like the way they're treated in education, leading them to the streets. They ain't got nothing for them. It can even go back into family life, being abused at home.
I feel like the higher-ups, they view us as not very intellectually smart, so they think they could give us only what they want us to see and make us work with that, in the sense that they might say young gender, black males, but to me it's like, yeah, we've got our racism, I know that started segregation years ago, but now it's like systematic racism. The media's only going to show what they want people to see.
Young people want to be wanted. You want to be wanted so you can move forward. I feel like that's what every young person wants to. As you even grow into an adult, you want to be wanted. So I feel like a lot of young people aren't wanted, and strictly and funny enough, gangs want young people. So if I'm a young person, if a gang wants to bring me in, they'll give me this, they'll give me that, I'm going to go to a gang.
Because no child is born to become a victim or an abuser, and no child at the age of 5 or 6 says, when I grow up I want to be in a gang. And a lot of people think that these children find that lifestyle absolutely amazing, but it's not. It's survival of the fittest, and sometimes you become groomed without even realising what's happening to you.
There are so many different problems that I've witnessed in the borough of Enfield, and that goes from poverty, mental health, just knife crime, gangs, and I feel like these are lots of things that can make a person feel uneasy when just walking the streets of Enfield.
How do we get these kids out of this? Prevention. We need to listen to understand rather than listen to respond, and it's not always about what we're seeing. It's about spending time to understand and get to know these young people, because they will tell us what they need, even if it's not verbally. But as adults, we all have a duty of care to support each person that we come across, whether you're a victim or a perpetrator or a young person, because if we don't work together, we won't take any steps forward.
I'm outside Enfield Arts Centre, about to go inside and talk to Platinum Performing Arts School. Now, they're a young art school that caters for young people from the age of 3 to 21. At the moment, they've got a performance on called Power to Make Change, and they're inside rehearsing, so I'm going to go inside and talk to them and investigate. Hello, Nina.
Hello, Barbara.
So I've just been upstairs and I've had a little look at the rehearsal and it all looks really, really good. There's a lot of energy there. When did this production start?
Well, we did it a year and a half ago. We was asked to put something together to show what the youths are doing today, what they have to go through, what their views are.
I feel like when Nina first started the project, the reason why she did performing arts is because she knew a lot of young people that wanted to do performing arts but didn't really know how to do it, in the sense of, you know, if you're dancing, singing, acting, there wasn't a big group of people that used to do it, so you kind of felt a bit left out. So she thought it would be a great idea to speak about our problems and all the trials and ups and downs and put it into something positive, like a performance.
Yeah, so I didn't create DPMO, the young people that I was working with. So it was creating awareness of maybe something about subjects that other people didn't want to talk about. It was only the young people that wanted to talk about it because they were going through it. And if I'm honest, I think it was ignored a bit. And it was, you know, by no fault to anybody, but it's like, no, that's not going on. We you know, that's not happening in our area. And it was, and that's where it started to happen. DPMO was the fact of deciding pathways and motivational outcomes. That's what it was for. It was for them to understand that you can make the right choices and be proud to do that. So we were like, well, how do we now take this formula and take it out? And then one day I said it, and the lovely lady came to me and said, do you know what? I've seen what you've done over the last few years. I'd really like to help. Put everything down, wrote a bid, and we'd got the funding, which was absolutely amazing. Due to like the young people's input and everything, it was an amazing project that we'd put together. So we were getting ready, we'd gone into the schools, we'd got all our stories. So we were going into schools, running workshops with young people that the schools thought would benefit from it. So we worked within 21 schools in Enfield, writing everybody's stories down. They're telling us what they're going through on a daily basis.
So I started, well, let's say, I started originally 6 years ago, where I was in school and I had a couple staff from Platinum come down to speak to me about how to make a change and me in school and how I'm doing. In primary, I wasn't the best, so they spoke to me, they mentored me, they put me on projects. I came in, did workshops with the team. I was learning different skills. My first time I came here was probably 5 years ago, where I was a part of a camp where I was a student, and during that camp I wasn't the best of children. I didn't like it, I wasn't listening, and they saw there was more to me than me just being a student. So they gave me the opportunity to come down every Monday to get mentored, to speak to someone, so I can grow leadership skills.
So then we were getting ready to do this show, and then COVID hit.
Good evening. The coronavirus is the biggest threat this country has faced for decades, and this country is not alone.
I grew up with the project. 10 years ago, 11 years ago, it started as a show. And then we finally got funding for it and we went into lockdown, so we could no longer do a show. We had to kind of create it in a way that we can still get the message out there, but in a safe environment.
It was when COVID first started happening, we were like, oh, it's going to be okay, we can still do it. You know, we don't know what's going to happen. And then when lockdown happened, it was like, how are we going to reach these young people? How are we going to deliver what we set out to deliver in our first year?
When lockdown happened, at first I thought like, yeah, no more school and stuff. Finally, a break from these people, like, I'm tired of it. And then further down the line, I felt like I avoided people in the sense that I didn't want to socialize with anyone anymore.
COVID really affected us, like young people, especially even me, like our social interactions, everything. Like it was like a period of time that just didn't feel real.
In lockdown was around in like year 3 or year 4. So basically then like you couldn't go to school and sit with your friends, you would have to sit behind a screen, just like learning basically. And like it kind of upsets you when you're like so young, because you don't get to like see or play with your friends. Like you can only like see them over a screen, and most of the time the cameras are off.
No, I don't feel like I had any outlets to represent how I felt. I felt like I did before previously, and then lockdown happened and everything was just shut off. Like everything was shut off for me. Access to youth, access to places where I could sing, where I could express how I felt, all of that was just shut off.
I do think that has affected girls a lot, but I don't want to say that just in case, because I'm not saying that it hasn't affected boys. I just think it heavily affected girls, even from the way girls tend to think.
Nina is 40 plus, I won't tell you her age, but I work in a lot of schools, and I'm the vice principal of the college, and things that people are going through, they kind of feel comfortable to tell me. So I feel like that was a big thing of getting, you know, the young people get involved, and myself, when I do it, I get the younger generation involved. So it's kind of just like a everlasting loop of getting the younger generation involved and what they think and their sort of outlook on different situations that are happening in the area as well.
That's where problem solving started to happen. What do we do? When do we do it? How do we do it? And they came up with the idea of doing a film, which I was like, okay, we like live theatre is what we do. How are we going to do this? So then we started reaching out to people and started to find out how would we convert this theatre script into a film script.
We'll start at the beginning with only one aim: to show you that you have the power to make a change. Take a peep into this twisted tale which might relate to your life. Listen, from my understanding, the lives of youth today is all about pressure and being overplayed. From fake friends being popular to being double-crossed, pregnancies and bullying can make you wind up feeling lost. We'll be following 4 teenagers and their lives in society today. We take a step into their world, and we're about to press play. Some of these events are based on true stories. In reality, this could easily happen to you. But watch from afar and take a look at their lives, and remember, when it's real, you can't press rewind. Think about their lives, imagine if it was you, and see if you'd make the same choices too.
Such a quick turnover, and then it was the fact of, okay, so now we're not casting for live actors, we're casting for camera actors, which then are completely different again. And then it's not so much choreography anymore, it's more sound design and lighting. And so there was all new jobs being created for these young people.
Being a part of Power to Make a Change meant that myself, young people who came from similar backgrounds to me, my fellow creators, my fellow team, members of Platinum, could all tell a story that would hopefully be received by the audience and impact the audience in a way in which we would create change.
I feel like the focus point of this film was the young people, is the young people, will forever be the young people, showing them that if you come from an area that people judge, that's fine, it means nothing. It doesn't mean that you are the area that you grew up in or the situation you grew up in. There's always other paths that you can choose. The other focus point, the adults as well, showing that I feel that there's always a thing between, the young people like this, and then the young people are like, yeah, but the adults are like this, they don't listen. And it's kind of like a level playing field of like, okay, we are all humans and we're all going through this together. Whether it's struggles or positives, it's how we can come together as a community and make light.
The positive things for Power to Make a Change are showing young people that, listen, you can talk, things are not as bad as you think they are. You know, be a leader rather than a follower. Realise that everything is not as intense and not as awful as you think it is. Listen, there are negative sides in terms of, you know, gang violence and things like that, but it's learning to say no, learning to step away from situations that you know are not good. You know that are not conducive, you know that are going to put you in trouble, and you know that are going to disturb your peace, really.
Whether that be in the thought process, whether that be in the choosing the right path and making the right choices, the story encourages an impact. It also gives myself, again, young people like me and young people who come from similar environments and different ones, a platform to create, a platform to express, a platform to do, which is in itself already different. There isn't always a platform, there isn't always a way to express and a way to communicate, and Power to Make a Change gives us that opportunity.
A lot of the things that young people are saying is, why have we got a voice if we're not being heard? Why are we being asked the questions if we're not being heard?
What do you need me to do then?
Deliver a couple stuff, put some stuff in your yard, minor stuff, innit?
What?
No. What do you mean, but? Because I don't know why you think you can disrespect me by answering me back.
Listen, I thought he was a big man.
Hey, get off him, bro!
Hey! What I tell you? Hey, leave these youths alone, bro. What you doing, bro?
Who are you to tell me? I'm one time I did leave them alone, but they took so much, so I'm gonna deal with it myself.
You know what? Move now! What? Dave! Now you're good. Dave! No, take some. No, Dave. Ah! Nick, call the ambulance!
I still don't get it. I feel like, especially amongst the young people, I think it's in schools as well, like young people are having a tendency now to bring in school. Like, I feel like they feel like it's their only defense mechanism. Like, they don't have any way of defending themselves other than using a weapon to hurt somebody else. Like, they don't want to speak because they don't want to be seen as vulnerable. They don't want to speak because they don't want to be seen as weak. If they use a knife, they think it'll show them as strong and they have power. But I feel like the knife gives them it gives them power. I think holding that weapon, you kill someone, you can take someone's life. So I feel like, especially once a young person has done it once, what's gonna stop them? Nothing will stop them doing it again. I feel like the only thing that will stop them is them going to prison.
It's already hard enough trying to create a safe space in their, in their reality. So projects like Power to Make a Change almost allow them to escape from reality for a second. Yes, they're still portraying real stories and demonstrating reality through the creative process, but they do it in a safe environment with like-minded people or people who allow them to be who they're going to be and safely. I think the safe space is really important because you are not guaranteed a safe space in the real world. A lot of people have to create their own safe spaces or don't know how to create a safe space. Some people don't even know what a safe space is, and I feel like Power to Make a Change really, really steps up in that way.
When we finished the film and we played it to all of the schools that we worked with and the young people that we worked with, we had a lot of tears because there was a lot of relatable stories. The stories came from these young people in Enfield. And then we realised that this is the way for this project to go.
I feel like Power to Make a Change not saved me, but saved my personality in a way. I feel like I was losing myself to certain things in life, and I just felt like it really opened my eyes to make me realise that's not all what life's about. And I feel like dancing helped me, and Platinum's helped me, and all these other things have helped me because it made me realise that there's more avenues in life that you can go down.
For example, a subject that really touched on me and still to this day has helped me so much is, I think it was in the second short film. It was where my name was the character was called Tajon. So, and with Tajon, he was me, and in a way, he wanted to do creative arts. He wanted to be drama. He wanted to do all this, but because of the friends he had, he didn't want them to know that's how he was portrayed and that's what he did. So that it links to me. I've been in the Platinum side of things for the past 5-6 years, and only recently I've told my friends, like, this is what I do, this is me. And funny enough, my friends have accepted it and they was like, oh, that's what you do. That some of them have even come and seen me working. Some of them came and seen me do pantos. Some of them have seen me so much that they've seen me do different things around. Some of my friends even come and dance at Platinum, and it's a thing where we're friends, but when I'm in my work mode, they know to respect me when I'm working.
Many doors can be opened in life, and you just have to, I don't know, you can have your own, you can choose your own path instead of having to I don't know, yeah. Having to do this because you're trapped.
Right, so when I was working on Power to Make a Change, it made you realise that everything was very much real to life, that children have, especially in this day and age, I think young adults, teenagers have a lot more things going on, a lot more peer pressure. Obviously, when I was growing up, we didn't have social media, we didn't have any of the things that, you know, teenagers have now. So it's like a whirlwind. It's like a big combustion of all these different things that they have to deal with.
When I saw the film, I thought it was absolutely genius, and the project itself is something that I would have loved to see when I was in school.
One thing I wanted to be is a motivational life speaker. So seeing different stories and different kids come through the doors and knowing their different challenges that they face in their day-to-day life, it's helped me within myself to know, wow, some of these things I've gone through.
I can connect with a lot of the themes in the films. Just growing up on a day-to-day life, the idea of fitting in when you're in school, dysfunctional families, just being surrounded by people that are involved in crime and how that affects them. So I've seen a lot of the themes, as I'm sure a lot of the youth today still experience. That's why I think projects like this are so important.
It was a wake up to reality. I think you realise that everyone's going through something different and a lot of it is unheard about. Like, I feel like we see a lot of common ones that are still being consistent through generations, which are racism and knife crime. But I feel like even like mental health issues, like it's been there for a while, but there's different mental health issues that haven't been spoken about. So I feel like seeing these in young people is like, where's this come from?
What are you doing? Think you can kiss my man and get away with it? I'll show everyone who the real bully is. Mia, give it back!
I didn't do nothing.
Move!
Look at you, tease. You're like you're dangerous.
Ugh, me and you snake. It's not about you right now. First you kiss my man and then you film Monet getting attacked.
You filmed me?
No, yes, what she told me.
And if she told you to jump off a bridge, would you do it?
On.
Move from me.
Don't ever try to be someone you're not. You're not bad. You're not popular. You're not even likable. You're just pretty. No substance. Stay in your place.
Project is so important because it touches on different people, different scenarios for someone to relate to, right? And it's important to have role models within the projects going around, within the project, that we can be like, oh, I would like to be like that person, actually. I never thought I could do that.
So what really stood out to me was the breakdown in communication between parents and their children, the breakdown with teachers, people in general that don't understand what the youth of today are going through. You know, and that really impacted, it really hit home. It really hit home that some young people, it's like there is a big border up because there is such a difference between an adult and a child, especially in this day and age. So that really impacted, it really sort of brought it to life.
In the first film, there was grooming happening, and there was also people not watching their mouth, which caused a family member dying or family altercations. In the second one, we see a boy stepping out of his bubble, trying to do what he wants to do, but he's not telling his friends, and then eventually when he did, and then also misunderstanding of things.
On screen, it's kind of your own interpretation, whereas on the stage, I believe that you could only tell it in a certain way, and it was from what face value was given. I feel like, again, like it's come such a long way because we have got funded. We were able to go into schools and meet so many amazing young people and their stories and their backgrounds and what they want to do and the heights that they want to reach. So it's come such a long way to where it was. Because whereas before it was only like a group of people, now it's literally the whole of the North London borough.
Let's talk about Nina and Arena. Honestly, I've known them for years, and I've seen their passion has stayed the same from when I first met them, which I will probably say 15 plus years ago, till now. The only thing is the elevation. I've seen them behind work, and when talking to them, I can then see that they've brought that into everything that they do now with Platinum, with Power to Make a Change. And it's so interesting to almost see everything they've spoken about come to life. The professionalism and the detail to everything, and to the message that gets put over across into these kind of projects.
In life, there's a lot of people that are not heard, so they go and do things to themselves. There's a lot of people in life that may think, oh, I'm in the right, but no one wants to listen to me. So if no one wants to listen to me, what's the point of me even being alive? What's the point of me being here? I might as well take life away from me, take my rights away from me, take my standards away from me, because no one wants to listen to me. So what's the point of me being here if no one's going to listen to me and there's no reason for me being here?
Scene 24D, take 3, action.
We got brought in when there was two films. Two films had happened, and straight away we were brought into a situation where we had to up the scale.
I'm listening.
Listening? Okay. The truth is, I don't want this life anymore. One family after another, moving to different areas and schools over and over again. I'm tired of the fake smiles and pretending that I'm okay, because I'm not. I'm not okay. Do you know how exhausting it is to try and fit in when really you never have? And you never will, because if my parents didn't want me, I don't know what makes me think anyone else would ever want me. I'm alone in this world. I get ignored. Nobody sees the hurt or the pain that I go through. I get on with it. Pay on a smile. Just to get handed to the next couple who feels like they can handle a mess like me. Oh yeah, and they've diagnosed me. Big fat label on my file. I have ADHD apparently. That's why my moods are so up and down. Not because my mum was a drug abuser, because I've been around trauma my entire life. No. I just must have something wrong with me, right? I'm so done with the car journeys, the late nights, the being screamed at by people that I don't even know. You smelled, month after month. It's always different. And I'm so done with being used. So no, I'm not okay. I'm okay. My parents had friends over last night and they were really loud.
Oh, that's jarring still.
Yep.
The days were quite long, both years, but I mean, we did have quite a lot of scenes to film. There was quite a lot of hours we had to do. So I guess I was expecting long days anyway.
It's amazing, challenging at times, but it was absolutely great. Just being able to work with everyone, you know, Irina, Omar. Yeah, as I said, it was definitely difficult at times, specifically like getting to like different shoot locations, like logistics, but overall it's actually pretty smooth and pretty good.
When we started on this film, we really started to realise how hard it was gonna be.
As a young person, being on the set, I got to experience being a character. I played Chantel, who was Bella's character in the Volume 3 movie. And then I also got the chance to be on set as a runner in the Volume 4. And it really opened my eyes to like a lot of the problems a lot of young people face nowadays. Even if we go back to the third movie, which was about hidden choices and how all the choices we make like can affect us in the end. And me being a character in that, I really saw that. For example, like I'm just there arguing with my sister. Yeah, I'm only seeing the first layers, like the face value of what she's saying to me. I'm not actually looking deeper into her problems. Like if she's constantly having issues with my parents, like we're constantly arguing like what actually is going on with her, especially if she wasn't always like this. Like, and I got to see how that affected her. I didn't make the correct choices as a sister or as a sibling, sorry, to even just go and check if she was okay and what's going on.
Doing these subjects differently on a third outing is a complete different problem that you're facing as it is. How do you find a way of engaging with the young people again? Yeah, there were so many more people involved, and I think when they turned to me with that extra feeling of he understands, because I think it's important that you know that whoever's doing this film understands what it is to come from an area in which where you may feel like you're deprived.
I think it shows the perspective of what they need to do. Like, I feel like without Power to Make a Change, I'm not saying it would change anything or whatnot, but I feel like with it, it's like a young person can look at how they could alter their narrative or change their life.
I think it's important for young people to hear subject matters such as the things that was in the film, because it's very relatable in terms of it's probably things that young people are even going through themselves. So it's important for them to see it in a different light and know that there is eventually light at the end of the tunnel, or things may not be as bad as they present themselves to be.
I think once you become a parent, you sort of get distracted by your views on how you want to raise your children, not taking into account how the things they see, seeing the world through their eyes. And I like to say in real life, I like to think I'm a great parent. In the film, you know, I was a busy parent. I was playing a busy parent, and I didn't know nothing about my daughter's lives in that film, which was quite scary because, like I said, I have kids of my own, and it's like, you think you're doing enough, but there's a lot of stuff kids inherently just don't tell their parents.
The third film, just before they took the VHR glasses off, when everything started going wrong, because it was just so like snappy and just like, whoa, like what's going on, and all the bad choices were being made, and then they took the glasses off and it was like, it was all a game. They actually have the choice to make it right again. I think that was such a strong moment because it shows you that if you make a wrong choice, all these wrong decisions kind of catch up to you. But if you don't and you choose right, you can make it all better in the sense of that it's going to be hard, but the right choice is there. I think that is my favorite one.
And I think that's why Hidden Choices is an important film, because it's saying when you feel like that, you're actually not realizing that there's a choice. There is actually still a choice out there, and it's hidden, and you have to find a way to climb above all the problems and issues and piles of rubbish that is blocking you from the sight of seeing that there's a way out.
I think having a sense of responsibility. I think a lot of the time when you're growing up, you've been taught how to do certain things. And sometimes a lot of young people haven't had the privilege to go and do it themselves. And a lot of the time, a lot of the hierarchy are restricting us from doing it ourselves. So I feel like a young person getting that own responsibility to do it is great because they can do it themselves without having to listen to what somebody else is telling them. They can be creative, they can do it their own. They can try and showcase something that hasn't been done before.
I feel like power to make a change is very, very important to other people. So I'll break it down in different sections. So the crew and the cast, we are people from the area. We are people that used to get bullied or was picked on or went through some of the subjects, and we were all the people that we are trying to make the best of what we had and choose the right path. So that section right there, we touched so many different people's lives, all the actors, all the crew, all the behind the scenes, the post, the pre, everyone on that. I want to say hundreds of people, maybe even thousands, I'd say 1,000 from the DPMO, the very, very first one we did, all those sort of years. So just like the cast and the crew, just like that, we are the people that wanted to make a difference in our lives, and we got given the space and time to do it and create and level up on ourselves. So just that in itself, that means so much.
I think a lot of the themes in the film are like really relevant to us, especially as like young girls as well.
Yeah.
And I think just showing what people kind of go through, even with like one of the girls, that she was going through problems with her mum and like with her career, and her mum obviously wasn't very supportive of it. I feel like a lot of people, especially our age or in like this sort of industry, we kind of go through those sort of same problems. So I think just to kind of see that displayed, it's like you can kind of resonate with it, which I thought was really impactful.
I'm trying to capture you, yeah, make it more commotion, then you get there, yeah? Because then it feels like I'm doing an action movie. Action! Go.
Get back, leave me alone. Come here, God's sake, come here now. Following me. Stop shouting at them, you're embarrassing me. Oh, I'm not embarrassing you, Mum. You're embarrassing yourself. You're always shoving things down my throat. Please just leave me alone and shove it up. Speed. Scene 49, take 5.
I got to witness Arena and Precious have this powerful moment. No one got to see it. It was us two. It was us three, sorry. It was just us three. And I got to like watch them break down.
So
No one got to see it.
Side on. Okay, cool.
But they both broke down, and it was beautiful and it was authentic. And we were away from everyone over there, and I was getting the camera ready, and she's working herself up, and I felt like, wow, what a moment.
Tegan, Cole, get back here right now. Tegan, Cole, I swear to God. Stop following me. Tegan, stop shouting down the road. You're embarrassing me. I'm not embarrassing you, Mum. You're embarrassing yourself. You're always shoving things down my throat. Please just leave me alone and shove it up Tegan, yourself. Cole, how dare you? I try. Okay, I really, really do try just to make you happy. You just never are. You've never told me any of Because this. you don't listen. And I'm tired of all of it, okay? Of all my blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, let's just go inside. No, let go of Tegan, me. let's go inside. Go with me. I'm done. I just need some time, okay? Tegan! Mom, I'm sorry. I'm so stupid. I should have never gone to that party. I threw up everywhere.
Where the other three kind of all went down this kind of, I beat you up, you get stabbed, and really kind of showing what the young people go through. I think this one touched on one subject that no one really likes to talk to, that it gets touched on and then it gets moved away from, is the concept of death. Is a concept of an afterlife. It doesn't matter what religion you come from, this is something that gets spoken about. Even if you're atheist, there's a concept of, is there an afterlife? And this film took it there. This film, the fourth film, really took it there.
One of my favourite scenes with the film was when we filmed it for the second year and we was filming the White Room. I really liked the transitions from when it went to the White Room to a character's kind of personal story. That did really stand out to me. As I said, I do really enjoy watching those kind of films, how the editing process is done. So that was definitely one of my favourite scenes in the whole show.
It was a tough character to portray, but I think in terms of the storyline, how it was set out, where it was going, I think it was different because I feel like there was things that were covered in this that haven't been covered before. So I feel like it was nice to try and play with something new.
In the fourth film, I took on a similar role as another role model and whatnot, trying to change a student's life for the better. It was very short, but you could tell the relationship I had with the student. In the film, I was an inspiration, I was motivation for him. He never paid attention to his academics until I told him, write that letter so he could further his basketball career, which I think is very powerful because you don't know how important the role you play. It's basically saying, always be kind to someone, always do your best for someone because you never know the impact it can have on someone.
The person that I was playing, I was quite a bully, class clown, and I impacted Darnell, the person who was in my class. He was going through stress as well. And something so small like being a bully, how that can impact someone's life as well. Because no one knows what other people are going through. It could be something small, it could be something big, but you just need to be thoughtful about what you're doing. Everyone lives their life differently.
But regardless of like, you know, he was looking after his mum, that there for me is a story that sits very, very close to my heart because, you know, my mum's an older woman herself and just like taking care of her and those elements and trying to do the best for her. I think like, you know, it means so much. I think so the last one, yeah, I think that one resonates with me the most and just has a special place in my heart, I'll be honest.
I feel like there was a lot of different themes that were covered in this film. I remember one scene, I think it was in a bar with a lady and a man, and she was like getting along, like they were getting along with each other. It was having a good time, and then he just started to take it too far, and I feel like that happens in like everyday life for a lot of women. So I feel like it's so good that they covered that in the film, because it kind of made us women feel like, okay, we feel like there's other women that go through this, and it kind of explained to us that these are things that need to be tackled through life, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it's something that we can all relate to. Like, we've gone out and had that same situation, and I think seeing it actually like portrayed in a film, it actually helps us to think, okay, other people are going through it, just literally exactly what you said.
You know, like I'm a girl from Enfield that didn't think that she'd be writing these amazing films and working with such amazing people, and Power to Make a Change was that for me and so many other people. So that's the cast and the crew. When it comes to like people like viewing it, there's so many different situations that you don't even think about that the film makes you think about. So even the language you use or the way you treat people, you might think, oh, okay, but you see it on a flip side because you're watching it in front of you. So all the people that have watched the film in that respect, it is so important. When it comes to families, like, I know that there's a lot of things that I go through that maybe my mum would never even think about, but she watches that film and it clicks something in her that she now, it's a conversation that can be started. I think that's the big thing that I'm trying to get at, the conversations that have been started because of the films and the shows. I know Power to Make a Change is important to me because it's in the name. We have the power to make a change.
And we continue to do this for 5 years. We've seen with the young people that we started, especially because we create a smaller group that then comes into us, and we've seen lives change.
They wrote the scripts. They did absolutely everything. I was in awe when I was in set. They were memorizing pages and pages of work that they wrote themselves. They came up with it themselves. I couldn't even memorize 2 lines. But seeing them be so active in the creativity in this film was amazing, because they are representing other young people in the community, in the local and wider community. It's not just about the local community, because everybody in any country can benefit from watching this film, to have a deeper understanding of what young people are going through today. And even though, despite they might be trying to make the right choices, people around them are not allowing them to do that. The best part for me for that day was the young people's professionalism. I was the one giggling, I was the one trying to crack jokes, and I was the one getting the looks from the young people who are just looking at me like, you're on set. We now need to take this very seriously. So I was being guided by them as to what I should be doing. But the professionalism was totally out there. And some of these young people don't come from homes where everything's brilliant.
I think my favourite one actually was the last one we just done. I think that one, because of like the whole interconnectedness on obviously how interconnected we are, and just understanding that other people are also going through their own things, and you gotta have empathy for other people.
But also, like, in the first and second film, like the wrap-ups at the end, I feel like for me it's always the ending. It's the wrap-up of like when the older brother died in the first film and there was a funeral. That was such a strong scene of like his voiceover, and then we'll go into the funeral of him explaining of like how everyone has the power to make a change, to the last film of when our character D'Angelo, his mum died, and he's coming out of the church and he's meeting all the different people that he met in the afterlife, in the midlife, sorry, showing people that it was such a crazy story, but they still have a future, and how are they going to make their future better?
In conclusion, from being in the Power to Make a Change movies, I just got the skill to, but 1, be in front of a camera, 2, to act, and also to be around other professionals.
I think that it's key that we make sure that we show these things, and we show the youth and the young ones that we're here to support them, be there for them, mentor them, guide them, and just be an overall role model and, you know, leader to them.
We've got young people now that started with us that are working within the industry, that are travelling the world, that are helping others, being mentors to them. And that's what Power to Make a Change is for. If you have the right opportunity and you are in the right place with the right positive people, friends, peers, mentors around you, then you have no choice but to be positive.
Now, some may be saying, another person trying to educate me on life, but no, I'm here to say there's always hope to move on to the end, and once something goes wrong, you can keep going. I'm going to give you a gem to remember through this talk. It goes, there's a bright light at the end of the tunnel. I've always kept that close to my chest as I've been through it, and it's still happening currently, but it's something that's occurred throughout my educational career, as from primary, teachers told me I would be nothing, and I've been given so many life and career opportunities. However, opportunities don't just come, you've got to graft for it. So I had to work to become a coach, and I had to work to be in a theatre, and learning to be a stage manager. Even being given an opportunity to go out on courses and do different things. It's for the future. Endless hours I don't regret was put in to provide me this. Imagine, I've been excluded and moved school numerous times, been checked, been centres and looked at, and look what I have on my plate to achieve. I've been put down but got myself back up, led astray but remembered my goals, went back on my road to success. Times people have said I'm boring because I don't want to engage, but that's only made me stronger. As well as achieving these things, remember to stay humble. People like to steal your shine, but remember how to separate work from social life and where to draw a line. But that doesn't make me think I'm better than everybody else. Spreading what I've said in mine, I would like you to remember, never back down, never give up, and remember the gem I gave you, there's a light at the end of the tunnel. As well as you may just say, why am I talking, it's hypocritical, it's because I'm going through it, so do you have the power to make a change? And it's done.
It doesn't disturb you.
My dad won't stop calling me.
You think he still thinks about you?
Probably. He'll be at the car park, so he'll just go home.
We're nearly there, drop you off.
Why's your hand so hurt?
72 scenes in 5 days. Early mornings,
late nights, but honestly, team, we couldn't ask for anyone better. I'm so appreciative and grateful for every single one of you. You're supporting all of us personally, work-wise, breakfast, lunch and dinner. So this is for us and as Toby would say, God